Warning, the following podcast has been classified as insanely lucrative. Listener discretion is advised.
As of just a few days ago, one of my good accounts got hijacked.
Your attention, please. Listening to the AMPM podcast may cause recurring revenue streams and unfair advantages over your competitors. Other side effects may include fatter wallets, fired bosses, and longer vacations. Listen at your own risk. Here's your host, seven-figure entrepreneur and online marketing madman, Manny Coates. Manny Coates.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the AMPM podcast. My name is Manny Coates, and this is the podcast where we discuss generating recurring revenue 24 hours per day, all day, all night, during the AM and the PM, hence the name of the show. Matter of fact, I was just at the movies watching a pretty awesome movie, and guess what, guys? I was making money. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. So today, I wanted to talk to you about hijackers and these guys taking over your listings on Amazon. And I actually created this podcast, or this episode, I should say, a little while back, probably a couple weeks back, and I never posted it. It was just something that I was going to wait a little while to do. And now I'm at a point where I want to post it, but when I did that when I created this episode, I'd never been hijacked. I had a friend that had tons of listings hijacked, but I personally hadn't. But that's changed. As of just a few days ago, one of my good accounts got hijacked. Now, it's kind of a weird scenario because the actual product that got hijacked was out of stock. I was waiting for new inventory to come in. And then I went in to look at it to edit some stuff, and then I noticed that there was a different seller on it. And I'm like, that's interesting. So I'm going through the process right now to get them removed. I've got my brand registry all set up. So it's just a matter of going through the steps. So if this is all confusing to you, the rest of the podcast is going to be what I recorded a couple weeks ago. I'm going to cut this off here and then start there, and that'll explain everything. And then I'll probably have an update for you in a future episode about what happened, but I expect there's not going to be any issues with my hijacking. Anyway, so let's get to it, and I hope this is educational. It was actually very educational for myself when I was actually creating it because, again, I hadn't been hijacked, so actually researching it, talking to people about it, and getting the information helped me out now when it actually did happen. I was like, aha, I know exactly what I got to do. And boom, I did it. And sure enough, it's in the process of being taken care of. So anyways, without further ado, let's get back to the episode that I recorded a couple weeks ago. Here we go. Today's topic is about hijackers and how they can take your listings, how they can destroy your listings, or just take all of your sales. Not good stuff, right? So we're going to talk about how that happens and how you can protect against that happening to you. And if you think it won't happen to you, you got to be careful. It's happening more and more. I just had a buddy of mine who has tons of tons of SKUs, tons of products, and he just had a big portion of them hijacked. So it can happen to just about anybody. So let's talk about it. What is a hijacker and how do they hijack your accounts? So a lot of people think that when you create your product and you create a page on Amazon and you've got your product page, that you own that page. And the truth is, that's not actually the case. Amazon owns that page, right? You have your ASIN number, which is the number attached to that particular product that you're selling. And as long as you're the only person selling that product, you control it, right? You control that buy button. But if somebody else decides to go to your supplier and they get the exact same product, they can sell it under the same ASIN number. And if they're outpricing you, they get a better price, they can take control of that buy button. So just imagine for a minute, you're making 20 sales per day. You spent so much time creating the perfect page. You've got all these awesome images. Your keywords are on point. Everything is beautiful. And then one day you wake up and you notice that you have no sales. What's going on? You go in and you log into your Amazon account and then go to the page, and sure enough, somebody else has taken over that listing. It can happen. Even if you're private labeling that product, and it's your brand, people can take it over. All they have to do, if they're a shady company is just get something that's similar to your product and then say that it is your product, sell it for less, and they can take it over. And now you have to prove to Amazon that that's not your product and that it was hijacked. So you have to order that particular product from the hijacker, get it, take photographs of it to show that it really isn't your product. And then you've got to go through a dispute system with Amazon to try to get them off your listing. And it's just a pain. Now you can make that 10 times easier if you took some precautions in the beginning and you created a web page for your product with your brand. So you actually own the domain. It's not on some free hosting account, but it's you own the domain. So if you're selling blue widgets, you own bluewidgets.com. And so you've got the image, you've got an email address, company information, and then you also have images of the listing or the products on the listing the way they should be, the box, right? What does the box look like? What does the product look like? And then when you take images or you take photos of the Hijackers products that you ordered, you can then say, look, this one doesn't have my logo, or the product itself doesn't have the brand on it, or whatever the differences are, and you can get them removed that way. That's one way of doing it. The more simple or easy way to do that typically is to have a very well-crafted email that is sent to them and copied to Amazon. And by them, I mean the hijackers saying, hey, look, we're going to take further action if you don't remove the product from our listing right away. The things we're talking about right now are ways to fix the listing once you've been hijacked, right? So let's talk about ways to keep your product from being hijacked in the first place. So there's a couple things you can do. The first one is the one that pretty much everybody knows about, and that is using brand registry at Amazon. And what that means is that you're going to take your product and you're going to go through a process through brand registry, and I'll have a link in the show notes at ampmpodcast.com that you can click on to get more information and to check it out. But you're going to be putting your product through brand registry so that your product itself will get a unique identifier number. Okay, so on the product page, you have your ASIN number, which that's unique to that page. But your product itself, with that ASIN number, anybody can sell that product. So when you do brand registry, your product now has a very unique number that's assigned to that page, and now nobody can jump on to the page to hijack it. I mean, they still can, but it makes it much harder, and you also have a much faster way to reach a resolution to get your listing back. So that's the first thing you can do. The second thing that people don't really know about that works really, really well with brand registry is the frustration-free packaging program by Amazon. Okay, now it doesn't seem like they would be related, right? So frustration-free packaging is an initiative that the CEO of Amazon set up to reduce the amount of waste in packaging when it comes to all the stuff they put inside the box, the plastic wraps that go around the product, and so forth. The second thing is it's supposed to make it a lot easier for the customer to just open the box, get the product, and go at it, right? They don't have to sit there like I did the other day where it had nothing to do with Amazon, but I ended up buying some ahi poke from Costco. And I don't know what the heck, how they create this not only child-proof but adult-proof packaging. I mean, I could see it. There it was, right in front of me inside this encapsulated plastic piece of armor, and it had a little lid to it that you're supposed to be able to grab and pull. And I couldn't get into it. It was adult-proof. It was Manny-proof. I mean, I pulled on it, and I'm a pretty strong guy, and I just couldn't do it. And I was crunching it, and I almost blew it up. Like I squeezed it to the point where it was going to pop all over the kitchen. And then later on, my buddy came over, and I offered him some of the sushi, or the poke. And then same thing, he was screaming and yelling and complaining about not being able to get into the package that he had pulled out of the refrigerator. So I hate packaging like that. And that's one of the things that they try to avoid when you have this frustration-free packaging, right? The FFP. And the first two words are key, frustration-free. But what's really cool about frustration-free packaging is that if you already have a product online and you've already registered the product through brand registry, you can then go through the process of signing up for frustration-free packaging, and I'll link to those pages as well in the show notes. And now what Amazon is going to do is they're going to give that particular product a designation as a frustration-free packaged product, which means that nobody else can jump on your listing and sell that same product without having the frustration-free packaging in place. And as of right now, as far as I know, Amazon's rules are that only one company can sell that particular product with frustration-free packaging. It's just the way it is. If that changes or somebody knows differently, definitely let me know and we'll update this. But as of right now, that's the way it is. So you have frustration-free packaging, you have brand registry, you have your website set up. You're pretty solid. I mean, the only other thing that you can do somewhat easily would be to trademark the product, and to make sure that nobody can legally use your brand name. But it's easy, but it takes a long time and it's expensive. So, do you want to go through the hassle of waiting months and paying, hundreds of dollars to actually trademark something? I guess it would be something to do for sure if you know the product is selling well and you definitely want to protect it. But the brand registry by itself at least allows you some protection to your brand name on Amazon. So that in itself should keep, or it's supposed to keep other companies from actually using your brand name on their listings as well. So it's another little perk. So anyways, guys, that's it. That's all I have for today. Please do subscribe to the podcast if you are not already a subscriber. And if you have any questions at all that you'd like to ask or have me cover, any show suggestions, please do send me those questions over at my website at ampmpodcast.com. That's ampmpodcast.com. You can leave a written question, or you can actually do a voicemail type system there. And if you do use that, please leave your name so that I know it's who I'm responding to. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for taking the time to listen to the podcast, and I will see you guys on the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the AM/PM podcast hosted by Manny Coates. For more information, insider tools, and to get the resources mentioned in this episode, visit ampmpodcast.com.